Welcome back to We've Got Company, episode 2. As always, you're going to get used to it. My handsome host to my left, your left also. Here's Dan. So what's up, Dan?
How's it going, man?
How's it feel to be back?
2.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're doing it.
It's not that crazy. It's only 2 episodes.
yeah. It'd be great if this is the last one. Like,
Right.
this is where
we
it all
just
falls
cap
apart.
it. Yeah, we just cap it all.
We really peaked with episode 1.
Yeah, you guys had a podcast? How many episodes? It was awesome. We had 2. Two stellar.
Insanely good, though.
Yeah, they were great. And then we ended it on a high note.
Yeah.
So today in episode 2, we're going to actually talk about how in movies, in TV, we've noticed that more times than we can count, there are people, in fight scenes or whatever, getting rocked in the face, getting hit in the head, falling from high places, and they are just not dying. They are not breaking limbs. People are getting their major arteries bursted open, and they are fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually talk about some of that stuff today. I'm sure you guys have noticed it. I'm sure it's been stuff that has come up with you watching TV, movie, whatever. So we're going to dive into that today. So I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, Dan, and he's going to get us rolling.
Yeah, so so the first time I realized this, or the first time it came into my thought how kind of we really accept the non-lethality of injuries in movies was when I was watching this movie called The Island that I believe came out in 2005 or
I think it's 2005. Yeah.
I think it's 2005.
Yeah.
It's Michael Bay directed, starring Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor. It didn't age the best, not something I would recommend anyone watching to go check it out. Right. However,
Michael Bay films tend to not do that too much.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That might be another episode of how poorly some classic movies have aged.
Yeah, definitely.
But so The Island, it about 45 minutes into the movie, I don't want to spoil anything in case anyone does actually want to go see it, but an escape of sorts happens. And in this time, Ewan McGregor starts getting beat up by this guy and really kind of like pounded, and Scarlett Johansson's getting scared and she's screaming no and everything like that. And she sees a wrench on the wall, and it's not a normal wrench. It's like one of those like aircraft carrier wrenches that you have to it looks like it's like the size of a baseball bat basically. So she takes this wrench, and just like Mark McGuire swings the wrench at this guy's face. And it wouldn't have been something that I acknowledged had they not specifically had a shot of the wrench connecting with his face. And he falls down. And in the next shot, Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson are running, and the guy's just kind of holding his head like, oh man, what was that? Like, that was crazy. And, but
which is not crazy. You should not be talking at that point.
Well, it's the thing is, like, I've picked one of those up before. And first off, it's like, it has the weight of like a sledgehammer. It's the kind of thing that if you pick up, and then I thought like, my God, if the thought of someone swinging that full speed at my face sent shivers up my spine, because like, it would
murder you. You would die.
It would decimate a head.
Right.
Like, it would just like turn a head into like nothing. It would decapitate you, like it would be so insane. So that really it changed my life in a way where every time I see that now in movies, I can't not acknowledge it. Right. I can't not see something.
Which is
like
true
that.
because obviously you and I have been watching movies way before 2005.
Yeah.
So we just were maybe just not so self-aware of the stuff. And then that was like your moment where it brought you online. Like, you're aware now that this exists. But if you go, I mean, how many movies before The Island were probably, especially action movies in the 80s and 90s with Steven Seagal and all those people? Like,
oh my God. And pretty much, honestly, every action film. Like, honestly, if you just like pick an action film in your mind, and guaranteed there is at least one scene in there where something happens that is absolutely fatal or incredibly damaging. Like, think about the amount of times you've seen someone get their head hit with the butt of a gun, or pistol whipped. You know, it's become this like accepted thing in movies that like, oh, when you're pistol whipped, you get knocked out, but you're okay. You know what I mean? Like
you'll live. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a reason to fade to black and go to another scene. You know,
no potential brain damage.
No, they're totally fine.
Totally fine.
Good, you know what I mean? But like, if you watch, you know, someone get knocked out in UFC or in boxing, it's kind of horrific. It's like this thing
with pads,
with
padded gloves and
and it's horrific. Like people go into convulsions sometimes and like get brain damage, and then they're just like the whole CTE of it all. Which
That's I was gonna say that like all the concussion stuff is so crazy now.
It's stuff that's really come into light in the last decade or so, but something that you don't really think about in movies. You're just kind of like, oh, you know, this is how you knock someone out. You pistol whip them.
Right.
But like that person might be dead. Like in a movie, like you pistol whip someone, most guns weigh in upwards of 8 to 10 pounds.
Right.
Like, you get
if you swing hard enough.
You swing hard enough.
You're gonna kill that person.
You'll kill a person. So I think we should just really go over a few just commonly accepted methods of non-lethal injury in films that are absolutely lethal, that will 100% kill you. And that's kind of what I think I wanted to go into today for this episode.
And before we there's even something that I wanted to bring up also was not only getting hit with like inanimate objects and all that, but even like falling from certain heights.
Yeah.
And this is done all the time, right?
Yeah.
Where they fall out of a window and they fall onto like the roof of a car.
Or garbage.
Like
garbage.
Yeah.
How much garbage do you think is stacked? How much garbage have you seen stacked up in your lifetime?
Also, in garbage, you have to be super lucky that there's nothing sharp. Nothing.
Yeah. It's apparently garbage that's filled with air mattresses that are filled.
Right. Or the little styrofoam packaging stuff.
Yeah, packaging peanuts. It's just those. That's what it is.
So that's like something too, is like I picture so much of that in my head when like thinking about movies where they're falling from heights that you're like, you would be not good.
And it's like at no point has anyone like, you know, like if you have to jump off of a roof and you see a dumpster, that is not like the signal for safety. You're not just like, oh, thank God there's a dumpster there. We're going to be fine.
Right.
You know, like, but it's garbage garbage, and the tops of cars in movies are like non-lethal items, totally fine.
Yeah,
like you're gonna be okay.
Right, like that day nobody threw out wood in garbage bags that would impale you.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing no one's like getting rid of any like, I don't know, equipment,
a computer screen,
like you know, anything.
Right.
You know, apparently apparently, like in movies, anyone who's throwing stuff out in dumpsters it's specifically throwing pillows out. It's specifically old pillows that they need to get out of there.
You'll live.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
But anyway, so go ahead. I wanted to just say that too, because it's not only like getting hit with objects, it's just a lot of shit that like.
Well, the tops of cars one I think is really great too.
Because it happens all the time.
It happens all the time, and then there's always the cute kind of like. All the windows break, you know, to show you like, oh, but this, you know, it was big, you know, this was a problem. You know, this wasn't totally safe. But then the guy, you know, John McClane gets off and he's just like, oh God, my shoulder. And he just keeps it moving.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about, like, since we were talking about falling and landing on top of cars, another thing that you see in movies all the time, especially nowadays with the amount of superhero fiction there is out there, is what I like to call the catch, which is the method and you've seen this in any superhero film where there's a flying person, which is someone falls from a building. Superman usually comes in just in time, right before they're about to hit the ground, and just catches them, and they're safe. Like, you're okay. Like, I've got you. Now,
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So the reality, the reality of trying to catch a person from a building is
of that velocity falling of that.
The velocity you reach would mean that it would be akin to trying to catch a 100-pound water balloon that someone's throwing off of a building at you.
Right.
And you just catching that, and what would happen to the water balloon is almost exactly what would happen to the person. Like the person would just turn into pudding.
Yeah, like Superman would be fine.
Superman would be fine.
But the human body
would fall apart in his arms. Like, can you imagine the difference of the original Superman where, Lois is falling down and you have that great moment where he catches her and he says, "I've got you." And she goes, "You've got me.
Who's got you?" Yeah.
And the reality is just, just like death everywhere. Children are screaming. People at the Daily Planet never recover because they saw what happened to Lois. Like, oh my God. She was in pieces, and Superman is just.
You know what? That's a move. Listen, this is gonna get out on the internet, so we can't really copyright it now. Yeah. But this is a parody movie that we can actually make.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that happens all the time, and superhero movies really do abuse it. The kind of ability, what is capable in physics.
Right.
And the catch is one of my favorites. One of the
I never thought of the catch. That's once you started saying it, I knew where you were going. But after you said it, but I never thought of that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that you see all the time, but you don't you just think of it as like it just happens. And more recently, did you see Shazam?
I did. Good movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it was a really good.
It was done.
Film.
It was finally DC did something right and went more of like this lighthearted comedic route.
Yeah,
and it worked. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shazam, directed by David Sandberg, starring Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Came out a couple years ago. There's a scene in Shazam where a bus is gonna fall off of like a highway.
Yep.
So, like kind of it's been crashed
because of him.
Over.
It's his fault.
Yeah. So a bus crashes, and then there's this whole build-up to a scene where he has to catch this bus. But at no point does he, jump or fly up and pick the bus up and put it. He just waits for the bus to fall on him, and he's going to catch the bus.
Right.
Now, everything's fine. He does it, and he catches the bus. But when watching this movie, it was making me insane because I'm like, dude, you got to jump up there and get that bus because those people are all going to die.
Yeah. Because the bus is going to become an accordion.
Well, it's going to become an accordion, and the physics of it is that someone who is an indestructible object that a bus would fall on, mind you, a bus has a window, and the front of a bus is just a window.
Right, basically.
And he catches it from the window. Now, the reality of that is that the bus would go through him completely, and he would just be there as bodies rain on him. Falling apart, like just one after another. Old women are falling and snapping in half on his arms and his head, and it would just be like it would be incredible. Honestly, it would be an amazing horror film.
I was just gonna say it's a horror film.
Yeah.
What's funny, just a side note, what's funny to me was that you were like, dude, you have to go up and get that bus.
I could not. I was watching that
It's funny to be watching that movie and then say that audibly.
Yeah, I was watching the scene on the edge of my seat, just like, this is horrific. Like, this is about to be a real mess. Right. Somewhere in my head, I thought the movie was going to take a turn. I don't know why. I thought it was like,
this is not
get real dark.
This is not From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was going to. Hey, there's another episode. Movies that take a very, very sudden, drastic 180 in the middle. That's something.
From Dusk Till Dawn comes. I mean, that's
probably.
I know we're sidetracking, but I will say this: with that movie, to this day, I wish that the trailer would have never showed any vampires, anything like that. So when people went to see it, they were literally like, what?
Well, I have just a quick aside. I have a little bit of a story about that. So Pitch Black, if you remember,
good movie.
Good movie. Vin Diesel's real kind of entrance into the world. So take
as
that
as like an action, as like an action hero.
Yeah. The movie might have apologies to make. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But in that movie, that has a very famous kind of 180-degree turn in the middle of that. And I saw that at the time with my mother, who had not seen any trailers or anything of the sort for it.
Right.
So when she saw it, she had that real experience of not having any clue what
That's
was about
awesome to experience that with someone.
Yeah, really, really great. And I love nowadays, I do try to like find people who haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn. And I watched it with them for their first time because I want to see their reaction. You know, I want to see like what they.
It's almost hard to wait for the moment. Like you're like nervous, like waiting for it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
we got off track. Let's get back.
Yeah, getting back on track here with the superhero genre. Another one that I think it was shown really amazingly recently is that I have an affinity for the character The Flash.
We've gone over that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
He's a stupid person. Don't worry about it. So the Flash moves at supersonic speed, at beyond supersonic speed, and in the Flash, it's like a common trope for him to be saving people and doing all these things while moving this fast, which is just basically like you're a 200-pound bullet flying through the air.
It's essentially the same thing, or the exact reverse of something falling at a superhero.
Absolutely.
Right. It's like the same thing, you know, catching a human.
So something that's illustrated the reality of this very well recently is the Amazon series The Boys, which is based on a comic book by Garth Ennis. Is one of the most, one of the best writers of our time. And
for sure.
So Garth Ennis wrote this comic called The Boys, and it's about a group of agents that basically stop superheroes that have gone rogue, that have gone corrupt or gone rogue, which is
way more realistic.
Yeah, such a realistic and really amazing idea. So if anyone hasn't watched The Boys on
definitely
Amazon,
go watch it.
Please watch it.
Season 2's coming out soon.
Yeah, season 2's coming up. It's such an amazing show. But the first episode of that series illustrates what happens when a person is saved at beyond or run into at beyond supersonic speed, which is like they just turn into liquid. Right. You know, like it just completely disintegrates human flesh. Like you will not survive.
Which is essentially what would happen if Superman was trying to catch someone falling from a 80,000 story building.
Right. Yeah. Superman catching someone off the Twin Towers or Empire State Building.
Jesus.
Never forget. I don't know why I went there. Jesus.
It's because we're old.
Yeah.
It's because we're old.
That's
don't worry. I'm not editing it.
No, keep that in.
That's staying in there.
Yeah.
We were around for it. We were alive when those two things were around.
Yeah. Stay tuned for our 9/11 episode, everybody.
Yeah, definitely not. No, that's our last episode. That's the episode that caps it all off. We get shut down from YouTube.
Yeah. Maybe episode 2 is where it all falls apart.
Right. All right, get back on track. Let's not make that happen.
So moving away from superheroes a little bit, I'd like to talk about the famed limb loss in films and television, which is, humans in films are akin to like a lizard losing his tail. You know, like humans, like you lose a leg, it's just gonna slow you down. Right. You know, if you're an action star and you're in an American film and your arm gets blown off, it's just like it's only like you have like a waiting period for your robot arm, or or you're just kind of limping for some reason.
Or you're going to continue, like when they get shot, when they get shot in the arm and they're still saving people and still
exactly, or using that arm,
that arm, fighting the villain, like
when so losing a limb is a pretty horrible thing to happen to any person. Like most importantly,
you said that so calmly.
Yeah, well, most importantly, like you have the amount of complications it causes to a person is kind of incredible. It's for one, you have the blood loss. Now, the amount of blood loss you lose when losing an arm or a leg would cause you to lose there's tons of blood vessels and arteries.
The arteries,
they're all through you. And losing a limb, you lose consciousness sometime within 30 seconds. you lose
That's
consciousness.
short. I didn't even know that. That's short.
Yeah, so you pretty much are, if
you're
you
not
don't,
saving the girl.
you're not,
yeah,
exactly. You're not gonna use the other arm to catch someone. You know what I
Correct.
mean? Like
Right,
that.
right,
None of
right,
that's
right.
happening. Like you're not gonna do much of anything.
Right.
And you also have the healing process of losing a limb can cause so many complications, including, disease, death. You can get sepsis.
Oh, yeah, the
What if the wound's
infections.
infected?
Yeah, infection, right.
There's so many things. But in films and television, it's become this kind of like, almost like an insect. Like you lose
Right.
your arm, it's just like, I use the nub,
Yeah.
and you're fine.
Right,
The whole
right,
time.
right.
So that's just another example of injuries we've come
Well,
to
like
just,
even
accept.
getting shot in the arm a lot. I mean, this leg and arm in movies, you get shot in those things. Like you could still die by. I mean, some movies they'll address it. Oh, you missed
Yeah.
an arm. You missed the artery.
For one, I think what's the is it 127 hours? The film.
Yeah. Where it cuts it
127
with
hours.
James Franco.
Will I think that is a very great idea of that's a very great example of a very realistic dislimbing. It's what actually
to that movie's defense. I mean, it's based on a true.
Right, it actually happened.
Yeah, so that actually happened. So it's easier to like.
Right. Well, like it's a much better. You didn't put that guy in Star Wars and have let's see what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what'll happen to Luke after his arm gets cut off in a more realistic situation.
Exactly.
Another one I'd like to go over, and this one's special for me because this one just bothers me all the time, which is lava being a trope. Lava is in films always just kind of a hot river. It's just kind of something that is best avoid. If you touch
the hot river,
as long as like your shoe touches it or something, you'll probably be all right.
Right.
But lava is incredibly hot.
What?
So
get out of here, bro.
It can't just be it's more than a plot device. You will actually burst into flames going
if it touches you.
Actually, if you're within 10 feet of lava.
Oh, I didn't see. It's that hot.
Yeah, you'll burst into flames.
That's
you'll burst into flames. So there were two films released in, I don't know why, but in 1997, there were two, for some reason, Hollywood decided that it got way into volcanoes.
Oh, Dante's
in 97.
Peak,
right? So Dante's Peak and also Volcano, which both are about volcanoes exploding in America.
Wait, am I right? Pierce Brosnan, Tommy Lee Jones?
Pierce Brosnan is Dante's Peak. Tommy Lee Jones is Volcano.
Yes. See that? This is why we're qualified to do this podcast.
Right.
Because I can do that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Quick aside, there's an amazing scene in Volcano. It's not a good movie, just in case anyone has like notions that it might be. It's not. But there's a great scene where lava is everywhere. And Tommy Lee Jones plays a police officer who apparently has never seen lava. So he keeps
not even on TV?
I don't think so. He keeps referring to it as this stuff until someone like a geologist is like, it's lava. And he goes, all right, it's lava. And that's it. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I have to rewatch that.
Like, someone's got to do something about this. It's all this stuff. It's all on the ground. And it's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway.
It's amazing that happens in that movie.
Yeah, both of those films. But then you have like Lord of the Rings, where the entire end of the trilogy takes place inside of a volcano. You have, I guess you.
But against those, you can always justify,
you can do a little hand
because they're more mythological.
Yeah. Same with
wizardry,
Star Wars.
Star
like
Wars.
The end of in the end of what was the last prequel? Return of the Sith.
Rise of Skywalker.
Right? Is it? No, that was the.
That's the most recent one.
That's the most recent one. The end of the prequel.
The Last Jet. Oh, Return of the Jedi.
Nope. Last of the prequels.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith.
I think it is Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Either way, I hate
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But anyway, the entire last fight scene of that takes place like pretty much inside.
Oh
lava.
Yeah, that's right. With
like they're pretty much just like having a pool fight inside of the lava.
Right.
So yeah, that's a common film trope, is lava being used as hot river when it's
yeah. Just
uh,
steer clear.
yeah, steer clear of that for sure.
One thing I wanted to talk about too was, well, did you have another one that was like kind of in that realm?
Well, not yet. The last one we'll go over
Okay. Okay. So I was gonna say, and if you look at the clip in the beginning of this intro, right, there's a guy who's basically beating a dude up with an aluminum bat, and he hits him 4, maybe 5 times before he even falls.
And every single one of those times, I think, is the face.
Yeah.
Like almost every time.
At least 90%.
Yeah.
And it's just, it just seems, and you know, we're movie fans, and I don't want to shit all over it, but at the same time, like, this is why we're talking about it. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it seems so lazy. Yeah. Like you're not even thinking about that. Like, right. Okay, if I took one of those like wiffle ball bats and did the same moves, it would hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I could maybe even knock you out if I hit you enough times.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it would be more understandable. It would be more like, you'd be okay with it more if you hit that guy that many times and he was still standing, and then finally you knocked him out.
Right.
But when you're talking, I don't know if anyone here, I hope everyone here has felt an aluminum bat before. If you hit someone with an aluminum bat,
oh my God,
even in a limb, the guy is gonna fall from pain probably.
If an aluminum bat rolls off a table and accidentally hits your toe, you might break your toe.
You're also done for the day.
Yeah. Oh no, you're canceling work that day. You're not even.
And this is not your example is not someone swinging it. It's literally just falling. So now think about a human being swinging a bat. Yeah. You would just die.
Unless, considering this is a martial arts film, unless he's got a kind of Jeet Kune Do understanding of the baseball bat, and he's pulling his swings just slightly because he wants to really just like, he's just kind of temple tapping him.
Right. He's just letting him know, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. He's just kind of doing quick little light hits until the final, blow, and to really, put a period.
Right. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's not what he's doing.
Most likely not. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's just really funny how. I mean,
I gotta say that's in the Raid 2, right? Berandal. Yeah. The Raid Redemption, the Raid 2, 2 of the best martial arts films.
Oh my God.
I think ever made.
That's why, like, I'm not trying to shit on the movie because it's like
my personal favorite.
Oh, amazing.
But the Raid 2, most creative uses of a baseball and baseball bat that I think exist on film.
Yes, I mean, yeah, and it's been done a million times.
Yeah. Unless someone starts scrambling some eggs with a baseball bat, I think that is the winner for sure.
Yeah, don't try that though.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, whatever. We don't really care. We don't care.
I'm not going to tell someone how to live their life. Yeah. So, lastly, the one, this is the most important one, I think, is maybe the most iconic shot of any film would be a protagonist walking away from an explosion.
Which has actually been addressed too, but we're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it because it still happens. It still happens regularly, and even when modern films try to raise the intensity of the situation, it's still not what actually happens.
Correct.
So, in old movies, you're used to, you have those great shots of, you have your protagonist kind of slow motion walking while an explosion's happening behind them.
Right.
And everything's kind of fine.
Everything's great.
You know what I mean? As long as if a house explodes, as long as you reach the door before the explosion happens,
right,
you're fine. Now, modern films kind of have changed it a little bit for, I guess, for the sake of realism. Mission Impossible, I think, is a good example. The Mission Impossible franchise is very good at trying to, they try to throw in a little realism here and there. So when explosions happen, you have Tom Cruise being like thrown onto a car, and things happen
I think,
that
and
seem.
I think that it's they have no choice because Tom Cruise wants to do all his stunts because he's a
Oh my
maniac.
God.
So they're like,
Yeah.
we have to make it real
Oh
because
my God.
he's
This
gonna
like
die.
this late in life insane person, Tom Cruise, is
He's
my
crazy.
favorite Tom
The
Cruise.
best.
He is
The,
like, he's the only person that can do what he's doing currently. Like the new Top Gun is all real jets, all real fighting. There's no other actor on earth who
yes.
can say that that's what they want in a film, and a film
And
studio
it's
goes,
like, fine.
okay,
Yeah.
like,
Like,
yeah, that's not that. That's so much more expensive than using CGI, and so much crazier, and so much more reliability.
oh my
But I
God.
just love this, like, 60-year-old weirdo that's just like,
He's
yeah,
just
no,
going
it has
for
to
it.
be a
He's
real
like, I'm
plane. It
gonna
has to
do
be a
it.
real plane, and I'm gonna kill people.
Which, by the way, that trailer, it gives
Oh,
me
incredible.
goosebumps every
Yeah.
time I watch
Oh
it.
my God. Yeah.
If you're a fan of the original Top Gun, which how could you not be?
Yeah.
When you watch that trailer, it's pretty hard. It's
Yeah,
pretty hard to deal with.
people, if you have not seen the trailer for the new Top Gun, check it out.
Go
It's
see it.
really incredible.
It's
It's really
definitely
stuff
great.
in there that is, not seen in films.
Right.
It's stuff that's
Right.
not, because it's real.
Yeah.
So
going
anyway,
back really quick too.
yeah.
Going back to what we were just talking about. It's funny because in the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg,
Mhm.
when they walk up to that little strip mall and it explodes.
Yeah.
They have that scene where they're rolling around the ground. He's like,
Yeah.
in action movies, how do people do? They
Yeah.
actually address that.
Yeah, yeah.
How it's like bullshit.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in
He's
that
like, I
film.
need an MRI.
Yeah, and it's true. Like that and
would
they're
be what
pretty
would
far
happen.
from it,
Right.
And so I want to talk a little bit about what happens in an explosion.
Oh, great! You definitely
So,
looked this up.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about what happens.
So a dynamite explosion, or like a C4 explosive, puts out about 1.5 million pounds of force pressure. And that's per square inch. That's 1.5 million pounds per square inch of force pressure that is moving you. Now, that doesn't just push you up against the car really hard. It doesn't just like make you go flying and then do a little dive bomb and roll into the ground.
Right.
1.5 million pounds of pressure will literally disintegrate you. Like it will.
It's more pressure than a locomotive hitting you.
Yeah, it'll turn you in. It just turns.
I don't know why I said locomotive. But
yeah, it'll turn you into ice cream. Basically, it will
like
completely.
mush, yeah.
Yeah, it will completely decimate you, and it's something that I think is maybe the most used trope in action films, is the kind
Definitely.
of runaway, the barely escape an explosion trope. But then I thought, like, how kind of funny would it be if in movies, like, like some people just didn't make it anymore, like if at the end of it, like, get to the end, big explosion,
he dies.
They didn't make it. Like, the explosion got him.
Credits just roll.
Credits roll on just like a piece of his skeleton on the floor, and credits go.
It would be definitely more realistic.
I think so. I think
probably not make as much money though.
Probably not, but it would entertain me.
I mean, yeah, we would be entertained by it.
Yeah, so that's just basically an example of a few commonly accepted ways of that we've accepted absolutely fatal injuries in film and television.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly couldn't even talk about video games in this list, because video games are essentially that's what video games are based on, is the idea that you can continue swinging a sword at someone and just
while taking
away points of damage. The X-Men films would be very different films if they behaved realistically. All the Wolverine movies would be real different. It would just be just like blood everywhere.
It would be bananas.
It would be raining body parts.
But again, with those movies, you can justify them because they're superhero movies or they're fantasy or whatever.
Right.
But when a movie's trying to base itself in reality,
oh my God,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we say this stuff because we're fans. We don't say it like, we're not trying to shit on it. We're just we're just recognizing it and then talking about it. Right?
Yeah. But, it's just for fun.
It's just for fun. But all that being said, like what I want and what I really want is I want like the listeners, I want like these guys out there, you guys out there to like, you know, chime in on what you think about like all this stuff. Is it something that you never really noticed before?
Or
is
if
it
you have any moments that you could think
or moments in movies or things that you just saw that you were like, dude, this is the most craziest, dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I want to talk about it. Like, we could do like, you know, we could do an episode like this and make it a part 2 of it, you know, and talk about all the things that came in.
Yeah, I would like to maybe down the road do an episode where we can maybe talk about just the moments of like, you know, specific moments in film where it's definite death.
Maybe we do like a live kind of like a stream, like we're showing it and commentating over it.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is it's funny. Like, I wanted to just say one more thing too. Was what's really funny to me is the brain damage thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you got hit with something like a bat or a wrench, right, and you were alive, you're not talking.
Yeah.
You're not normal talking after.
There are people whose lives change after falling off a ladder. You know, like there are people who
100%,
like,
yes.
you know, take a stumble
just
and
at
their
work or
entire
whatever.
life changes. You know, like there are
it's
people
sad, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's funny because it's just so neglected.
Yeah.
It's just such a neglect for it. But I mean, whatever, you know, it's going to keep happening. We're still going to enjoy it. We're going to disregard it until we think about it and go, wow, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this we're going to try, maybe we'll find some links. We'll put some stuff up with some, put it underneath, you know, this video, if we could find some links of scenes or whatever. And then if anybody wants to comment about it, talk about it, more than welcome. Please, let's talk about it and share. But that all being said, anything else you want to bring up or you want to say, or
stay safe, everyone. Don't fall off ladders.
No, don't. And stay safe, stay healthy, all that good stuff. Stay home. That's the biggest one. You won't get hit with a wrench at home.
No,
Well, maybe, you never know. When you're with someone for too long at home, you might end up getting hit
come
with
to think of it, there might be a few people getting hit with wrenches as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we're signing off, man. Episode 2. Dan, we're not doing the sign off.
Nope.
No, we're gonna change it every week.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll just say.
We'll just do this one, and then we'll do. Yeah. All right,
thumbs up.
Yeah.